Lokal is a small European-inspired bistro that uses farm-to-table as well as sustainable and ethical ingredients as much as we possibly can. We are super excited to be able to partner with Hopewell, Breaking Bread, Breaking Stigma. I've had lots of friends go through some struggles with eating disorders, and it's always important to me to be able to help as much as I can when I can. So thank you for participating, and I hope you enjoy your sandwich. So let's go make it.
Hello, welcome to the inside of Das Lokal. I'm going to show you how to make your sandwich. So it is a BLT. So instead of using bacon, because I'm a big fan of challenging myself to make vegan ingredients, I have lots of veggie and vegan friends, so I want to make sure that it's accessible to everybody. So I have used smoked beets instead, and I'll show you how to build your sandwich. Don't worry, it's very, very simple. So we've made some focaccia. So your bread is going to come in this little package, and we've so generously sliced it for you. And all of our packaging is compostable with the city, so we're not harming the environment there. So we've got our lovely bread, and in my little box, it's going to be your pea shoots in this little cute little bag, and the smoked beets, and a little bit of some crunchy salt and some pepper, as well as some beautiful tomatoes. Now, I didn't slice the tomatoes for you because you got to do a little bit of work. But what we're going to do, we're going to hold on to our tomatoes for now, and then here, it's going to have a lid that actually fits it, I promise. We've got our white bean puree, and then in this little guy, we've got our chermoula. So nice. So we're going to put those down here. So we are going to slice our tomatoes and put them aside, and then we're going to put the spreads on, and then we're going to build everything. So there's a couple ways to go about a tomato. You can cut out the middle like that, just to get this little guy out. And you don't have to put it in a compost. You can keep it and put it in the freezer in a little container that you throw into a stock later on. So you can do that. Or if you don't feel the need to hang on to stuff, it can go in the compost. Another way is to cut the tomato in half and then just kind of make an incision going towards the inside of the tomato. And then those pieces can go with your other part of the tomato. Now, if your knife isn't super sharp, because tomato skin can often get stuck in your knife, and then it's hard, and then you squish the tomato, that's okay. I actually find that your bread knife will do a really nice job of slicing tomatoes nice and thinly, so you're not all over the place. Now this little part, if you want to keep going, I would put it directly on the surface of your cutting board, and then put your finger kind of on top, and very gently you can cut the bottom off. Now, I do find that in sandwiches, the little ends of your tomato often, because they are slippery and round on one side, will often kind of shoot out of your sandwich. So sometimes while I'm going, I will just eat those on my own, or I'll put them in something else. They can go in your sandwich, but it may attack you. So then with these ones, now that we've cut the little edge out, we can here we go. All right. So I'm going to put my tomatoes aside. Get our bread out. And I actually prefer to just use spoons. And then I don't need 2 utensils. So I use spoons to scoop it and to spread it. So I'm going to put this white bean garlic puree on the bottom. And this is also going to put a little barrier between the bread and the tomato. If you got some left over, it's pretty much a hummus, so you can eat it with some crackers or some pita, or just on a spoon. I do that sometimes. So next, we are going to put our chermoula on the top part of the bun. And by bun, I mean focaccia. So again, I'm a spoon girl. There's spoons in the kitchen for everything. I think that's the most useful tool, one of. We're just going to get it a good spread. And it gives it that sort of freshness that sort of a pesto would give you. There's no nuts and there's no nuts or cheese in this, so you don't need to worry about that. It's just herbs, garlic, lemon, and some spices. But it's got this really lovely freshness that's really going to bring everything out when you eat your sandwich. I hope. All right, so now we've got that. So now we are going to put our smoked beets. So, smoked beets, I'm sure you've not heard of that. That's okay. They're really cool. We do them from raw, so I'll drop one. So we take the beet, the raw beet, and we will peel it, and then we're going to cut it into our slices, and then we're going to take a mixture of sugar and salt. So we do it by weight, so it's 1-to-1 by weight. So 500 grams brown sugar, 500 grams salt. And then we cure them in the salt, and then we let them sit overnight, and we kind of get that cured flavor, and the salt and the sugar permeate the beet. And then the next day, we're going to take it and we're going to rinse off the excess, and then we're going to put it on a rack in the fridge, and we're going to dry it overnight. When you're smoking anything, you really want to make sure that you do the drying step, because then the smoke actually sticks to whatever you're smoking a little bit better, develops what's called a pellicule. So it's like a little sticky surface, and then that smoke, when you smoke it, really sticks to it. And then of course we smoke it. So yeah, and then they're done. So they cook. It's a hot smoke. We actually do use a makeshift smoker, which is a pan and a perforated pan or a rack, and the wood chips, and then tinfoil as a cover. Old school. And so that smokes for about 45 minutes. So the heat from smoking it cooks it, because it is on the heat. And then, but it gets this really interesting, kind of makes them denser than they already are. And the beets are already kind of dense. But when you cook them without doing this, they have more water in them, because we've removed the water from the curing process. So they just have this really kind of meaty, for lack of a better term, quality to them, which is really neat. And then it's got that smokiness, it's got that sweetness, so it kind of mimics a little bit of how traditional bacon would be. So yeah, so then we're just gonna layer these guys in here. Hey. And the white bean also kind of acts like a glue and it keeps them put. And now we are going to take our beautiful tomatoes and we're going to lay them on top. Get some nice color variety in there. There we go. And now I'm going to open up my little salt and pepper packets. So we've got this really cool salt from the Vancouver Salt Company, which is out of Vancouver, imagine. And it's got flaky, so it doesn't, it's not like a uniform salt. You get these like pops of salt and they're kind of crunchy, which I love. And it goes so awesome on a tomato. Just really makes the tomato really come to life. And then we've got some pepper that we have toasted before we ground it. So that like brings that action, brings out the oils, the natural oils that are in the pepper, and it really brings the flavor a lot. So the oils are where the flavor are, so it kind of brings them out. And then we've got these beautiful pea shoots. Oh, I'm just gonna do that. I love pea shoots. And then the nice microgreens, because they're young, they actually contain a lot more nutrients than if you were to grow that plant all the way up, because they would have the same amount of nutrients in it from when they're this small to when they're this big. So microgreens have this very dense packed nutrients available. And there we have it. We've got our sandwich. So the pea shoots also act as a barrier for the tomatoes because we don't like a soggy sandwich. So yeah, we've got one sandwich, two sandwiches. And you're welcome to cut them in half. If you're going to cut them in half, do it very gently and with a bread knife because they don't. There we go. So there we've got our beautiful sandwich. I hope you guys enjoy, and thanks so much for supporting Hopewell, Breaking Bread, Breaking Stigma. I'm super happy to be part of this, and I hope everybody loves their sandwiches and enjoys this COVID edition of the sandwich competition. Thanks so much.